Welcome, Dolphins fans, haters, and everyone in between to your favorite show discussing the greatest franchise in sports, the Miami Dolphins. This is the PhinsPod. My name is Moose, your host, and yeah, we were expecting a loss this past weekend, absolutely. But like this? Oh God, please not like this. Today, we're going to parse through that massacre that was Dolphins at Bucs. What went wrong and why did it go wrong? I could have taken it if the offense was to blame, if Brissett played like absolute shit. But to be fair, he played his best game yet. The offense held its own early on. The tragedy was that it was the supposed strength of this team that let us down. After the 45-17 beatdown, is there even anything to look forward to?
This is our most desperate hour. Help me.
Tua Tagovailoa.
You're my only hope.
Without further ado, let's dive in.
Here's the thing. I don't think anybody is doing a good job. I think everybody is stealing money, if that's the way you're going to put it. Xavier Howard is being asked to defend crossers all game with against Antonio Brown. That's just with no help. That's just a recipe for disaster. But obviously, that's what the Tampa Bay Buccaneers do to you, and they put you in difficult positions. And they've got an arsenal on offense. There is no weakness to their offense. Great offensive line, 3 great receivers, 3 good tight ends that they literally start for any NFL team. 2 very good running backs, even though their focus isn't on the run game. Quarterback, greatest of all time. So offensively, I mean, what did you expect the defense to do? They eventually.
I expect them to make some stops, bro. They were pathetic today.
In the episode leading up to this game, I mentioned a worry that ended up coming to fruition. Tom Brady's mental. After playing his worst game of the year last week against the Patriots, we talked about Tom Brady's mental, having intimate knowledge of the man now for 2 decades, tragically. One thing is clear. He never plays poorly on back-to-back weekends, never. And I say this genuinely, yesterday was perhaps the best I have seen Tom Brady play against the Dolphins in a very long time. We'll get to that though, but let's start with the Dolphins' offense. Unlike the last few weeks, I actually liked Miami's offensive game plan and thought that they executed pretty well early in the game. The Buccaneers have an amazing run defense, with guys like Vita Vea and Devin White in their front 7, not to mention JPP. Trying to pound the rock would have been useless, so Miami attacked their weakness and threw the ball early and often. The offensive line had yet another shuffle, and they played, honestly, their best game of the year, in my opinion. As we've been asking there for weeks now, Austin Jackson was taken out of the left tackle spot, and rookie Liam Eichenberg was given that position, the same position he played at a pretty high level when at Notre Dame. Austin Jackson was kicked into guard, and boys and girls, he played well. I think we may have found the left side of the line, fucking finally. Going forward, I hope to see that arrangement because honestly, it went pretty well. Liam Eichenberg at left tackle, Austin Jackson at left guard. Greg Mans held his own at center, but Michael Dieter should still get the job when he returns. Robert Hunt played solid at guard yet again, and the Achilles heel of the line, as per usual, was veteran Jesse Davis, who started at right tackle. Next week, with Tua returning, I hope to see another shift. Keep the left side intact, Mans can remain at center, and for the love of God, please get Jesse off the damn field. I would rather have Solomon Kinley at right guard and then Rob Hunt return to right tackle where he played last season. That, to me, that would be your best 5 starting offensive linemen. We saw almost 0 Malcolm Brown, and instead, Myles Gaskin was given the reins as the lead back. He played pretty well, not running the ball, but as a pass catcher. Brissett showed some toughness, playing through a hamstring injury, which came at a pretty inopportune time, considering he had been playing extremely well leading up to that point. Miami's receivers, specifically Preston Williams and Mike Gesicki, look strong, but Jalen Waddle struggled, and Albert Wilson remains on a milk carton somewhere. Shockingly, the offense was not the reason we lost the game. Their biggest issue, and an issue which has been plaguing this team all season long, the second quarter. For some reason, the Dolphins can start well, take a lead, stay competitive, but once the second 15-minute period begins, it's like they forget how to play football. Miami was in the game, to most of our surprise, with a 10-10 tie, but by half, it was 24-10, and the game was pretty much out of reach at that point. The defense made sure of that. They truly made this a blowout. The score was 24-17 heading into the fourth quarter, a one-score game. Miami was trying to gain some momentum, but thanks to our Swiss cheese of a defense, that was not happening. Xavier Howard played like crap, and reportedly he had a groin issue. If that was the case, it makes sense why he was getting burned by Antonio Brown play after play. On a side note, I can't fucking stand Antonio Brown. He is a piece of shit human being, and I hope he gets his due at some point soon. Makes sense that Brady and him are so tight. But back to our defense, it seems that they forgot how to play it. And this is where my main concern lies going forward. The defense is supposed to be our best unit. The defense is supposed to be what keeps us in games. Instead, they look checked out, almost as if they've tuned out the coaches, and that's not good. The coverage was dog shit. There was almost no pass rush. Blitzes didn't work. And every time the Bucs decided that they wanted to run the ball, which they didn't have to, they could have thrown it all over us all game long. But whenever they ran, a nice 6 to 7 yard chunk would be taken out immediately, making it second and short. Almost every single damn time. Now, to be fair, aside from maybe Buffalo, who we do see again in 3 weeks, yay, the Buccaneers are the best offense that we're going to face. I did make a video in the offseason asking, hey, why not us? Why the Dolphins couldn't be Super Bowl contenders? Well, past Moose, this is why. They can't hold a candle to those teams right now. They are deeper issues, and I don't know how they plan to address them. Mike Evans, Leonard Fournette, Chris Godwin, hell, even O.J. Howard made an impact. Brady was spreading the ball around and felt no pressure from Miami whatsoever. Normally, quarterbacks have a weakness. Maybe they struggle playing against zone, identifying coverages. Maybe they fall apart when you blitz them and play man, but not Tom Brady, not yesterday. You play zone and can't get organic pressure. He'll dice you up. You play man and send a free rusher, he'll find the matchup he likes and deliver a precise throw with great anticipation. The play that broke the backs of Miami was the deep Antonio Brown crosser against Xavier Howard. Miami sent a stunt up the middle with Sam McGuavin, who was able to get there, but Brady knew where he wanted to go, and as he backpedaled, he fired a dime to the spot he knew Brown would be at, and the rest was history. This upcoming game against the Jaguars is going to be telling. And yes, I will still be here if we finish 1-16, no matter how hard the Dolphins try to push us away. And it feels like they're really trying hard. The fan base, the real ones, aren't leaving. At least the ones who do care and love for this team deeply. But do we deserve this shit? Absolutely not. Although, to be fair, maybe we're getting some karmic backlash for being Florida, as some say the armpit of the nation. But if that's true, Tampa Bay has somehow found some deodorant for that. But let's get to the studs and duds of this game. And then we're going to look to the future. Starting on the offensive side of the ball, our first stud is Mr. Myles Gaskin. He gets the stud designation not for his running between the tackles, although he did carve out a few nice runs when given a chance. He had 25 yards on 5 carries, but he's a stud for how he performed in the passing game. He finished with 10 catches for 74 yards and a touchdown on a beautifully executed wheel route. Our first dud on offense goes to regular contributor to the stud and duds list, Jesse Davis. But I think he's only been on the duds list. For the love of God, Miami, bench this man. Sign someone new. I don't care. Davis is a walking turnstile and will just get Tua hurt again if he remains at right tackle, his blind side. I do hope to see a change soon, or I don't think our fortunes are changing. The next stud, Mike Gesicki. The man is a beacon of light in otherwise very dark days. His hands are amazing. He doesn't drop passes and is a chain mover when you need it the most. He finished the game with 4 receptions for 43 yards. The next dud goes to Jalen Waddle, and it hurts me more than it hurts him, mainly because I'm an irrelevant podcaster while he's a millionaire NFL wideout, but still, he performed well below what you would want to see out of a 6th overall pick. If you've been listening to the show for a while, you may remember I strongly disliked the way Miami moved around the draft board, jumping down from 3 to 12, then back up to 6, while giving up a first-round pick in the process. I figured Miami was going to target someone who could be a stalwart for this team in the coming decade, a Penei Sewell, Micah Parsons, Jamar Chase if he fell, or even Kyle Pitts. I didn't think Waddle was worthy of a top 10 pick. For him to be worthy, he had to prove he was an elite receiver. He still has time, no doubt, but his inconsistencies with drops, as well as his underutilization in the offensive attack, give me pause. You would think a game featuring the loss of Devontae Parker would mean more targets for Waddle, but that never transpired. He also dropped a potential touchdown, which, yes, would have been called back due to offensive pass interference anyway, but still, you got to catch those passes, even if they are thrown a little behind you. And he also had that horrible tip, which resulted in the interception. Our final stud goes to, and I say this genuinely, Austin Jackson. Congratulations, AJ, you made it. Not only was it his first go-around playing on the interior of the line, but he drew one hell of a matchup. Vita Vea, who is in Aaron Donald's class, truly. And to be fair to Austin, he held his own. It looks like we drafted a guard, 18th overall, but hey, if he proves to be great at the position, that's not a bust. The last stud, Mr. Albert Wilson. Bro, where the hell are you? Either he's struggling to get open, is often the third and fourth read, or just doesn't have chemistry with Brissett. Whatever it is, we needed another weapon in the passing game, and so far, Wilson isn't panning out. Moving to the defense. I'm not going to lie. Finding 3 studs was very hard, and some of these are going to be a stretch, you'll see. But the first stud is earned. Jalen Phillips. Here at the PhinsPod, we were very high on him coming into the draft, and when Miami was able to nab him at pick 18, I was elated. He managed to get his first career solo sack against Tom Brady. Not a bad way to start. Not to mention, he was one of the few guys consistently putting effort in and running to the ball, gang tackling, jumping on piles. So far, I love what I'm seeing out of number 15, and I still truly believe we got one of the best defensive players in this year's class. Our first dud, Eric Rowe. After an awesome 2020 campaign, Rowe has struggled this season. Honestly, he is not the same lockdown defender he was, and I'm not sure whether he's battling an injury, if Tom Brady knows his former teammate intimately and is able to exploit him, who knows, but the play must step up from Rowe. He was consistently burned by Cameron Brate, O.J. Howard, and also contributed to a dumb offsides penalty when he wasn't even blitzing. How the hell do you get an offside as a freaking DB? I still think Rowe is a good player, and hopefully things do pick up for him soon. Our second stud, Zach Sealer. He continues to be stout in the middle. And yes, the defense did get pushed around as a whole on Sunday, but compared to others, he did hold his own. We've seen better play from Sealer, and I still expect more going forward, but he was one of the few who wasn't a complete liability on Sunday. Xavier Howard gets the unique distinction of being a dud this week. He was abused consistently by Brady and just couldn't keep up with the speed of Antonio Brown. You demand that money, play well for a whole year. If you want a new contract come the offseason from us or anyone across the league, play well for a whole year. Pick it up. I know he was struggling with the groin injury, but if you're on the field, then play well, especially in such a big game against such a big opponent. And the last stud goes to Sam Aguavin. He really didn't do much. But on the few opportunities he got to be that extra rusher, he did get close. When playing a quarterback not as smart as Tom Brady, he'll probably get home or cause a potential turnover-worthy pass. But he could nab one sack or two, honestly, next week in London when Miami plays the Jaguars. I'm glad Miami decided to keep Aguavin because, honestly, he is a damn good blitzer. All in all, this is a game that I hope fades away into our trauma bank, forever forgotten. It sucks that Brady has contributed to most of those traumas, but hey, we continue to move. And now, a word from our sponsor. CBDX.com is not your average CBD company. We've all tried CBD, and none of it is like the real deal. CBDX is the real deal, and CBDX.com ships right to your front door. Right now, our listeners get 20% off their orders at CBDX.com when they use the promo code FINS. That's PHINS, FINS. CBDX makes delicious gummies and tremendous cartridges. All products look, smell, taste, and feel the same. And after that game, you definitely want some. And they all actually work. CBDX.com is the future. So go to CBDX.com, enter promo code FINS with a PH for 20% off all orders, plus a free gift from the team over there. A free gift on top of that order. Remember, don't use CBDX products before driving, operating heavy machinery, or getting tested. That's CBDX.com with promo code FINS for 20% off all orders. Hey, they love football, and that's why they're here. So show CBDX some love and support the show while you're at it. 20% off, plus a free gift when our listeners use the code FINS at CBDX.com. Thank you to them for sponsoring the show. So now we look ahead. The Dolphins are 1-4, and despite how it went, we kind of were expecting an L against Tampa. I mean, hell, they are the defending Super Bowl champs, and they were playing at home. Still, it's go time. Miami either shows they can rattle off a few wins like last season, or this year becomes yet another failed season in a long list of them in the 21st century. I played this at the top of the show, but I'll play it here again.
This is our most desperate hour. Help me,
Tua Tagovailoa.
you're my only hope.
The situation the Dolphins have placed Tua in is purely unfair, but he was drafted to be a franchise-altering quarterback. So, buddy, it's time to alter this franchise. He gets 12 games to show the fans, his teammates, and most importantly, Stephen Ross, that he is the answer. To do so, he must not only help lead a capable offense, which does keep Miami in every single game, but he also must do it in relatively impressive fashion. Here's the thing. All offseason, there's been a back and forth, not only nationally, but within Dolphins fandom as well. Some fans feel like what they saw last season from Tua was enough. He's not the answer. He's, quote, too small, not physically tough enough. That's why he broke his ribs. Him and Gronk, not tough. A poor leader, game manager at best. And then you had another side, which knew 9 games wasn't a big enough sample size to completely judge him, but also liked what they saw. Hi, that side is the one I'm in. Now, there is an extremist contingent within that group, which I too am part of, that believes Tua has some elite traits, and if properly nurtured and developed, could allow him to play a very similar style to Drew Brees. Oh, would you look at that? Certain Chargers fans were keen on running Drew out of town, but hey, in America, people like to ignore history clearly, but we won't get into that. Here's the thing. Tua could play damn well, show himself well, and Miami could still be on the outside looking in because while he was out, his team did him 0 favors. For Miami to have a shot of salvaging this season, not only does Tagovailoa have to perform, but so does this defense. And after Sunday, all bets are off. The one thing I would like to say to the aforementioned group, those of you who pollute my comment section with zealous Tua slander, have you watched this team play for the last month? Like really, have you taken a look? Because what I do know is with Tua at the helm, we won up in Foxborough. The players were energized, engaged, ready to go to war. Without Tua, they look lifeless, directionless, and frankly, awful. So when he comes back and we're able to rattle off a few wins, who does get the credit then? The defense, Brian Flores? Who are you guys giving it to? All I'm saying is a quarterback's impact and influence on a team cannot just be measured by statistics. There's a certain quality. Some call it the it factor. Others call it just being a franchise quarterback. But regardless, if this is what the team looks like without Tua, then he has been far better than anyone has given him credit for. And as unfair as it is, it's kind of the perfect setup for those of us who have been hammering Tua's potential over and over again. If he truly is the difference maker that I and many fans believe him to be, then we're about to see it. The team looks like one of the worst in the league, and now he's coming back. If the team as a whole all of a sudden looks like we thought they could, the offense moves the ball with rhythm and consistency, the defense steps up their play, and complementary football is actually played, then I think we know the truth. If not, and we continue to look like a subpar club, then I will get on here and tell it like it is. But I'm not ready to give up quite yet. Not on this team, not on the season, and definitely not on a quarterback who hasn't even played during this horrid few weeks. I hope you're with me. If not, then enjoy the misery. You'll be there for a while. And lastly, I want to close on a quote from Jacoby Brissett. When asked about what will happen when Tua returns, the lumbering buffoon said, quote, "That is not my call." Bitch, shut the fuck up. This is Tua's team. And comments like that show just how clueless you are on and off the field. If we fail, it'll be because of Tua, not because of Brissett playing the rest of the season. I pray to the football gods that we never see you play another down for Miami. I can't take any more missed reads, poorly thrown passes, and just generally shitty play. Appreciate the confidence there, Brissett. But to say, that's not my call, like I don't know what's going to happen when Tua's healthy. Is there an open competition? Honestly, is there even a discussion? Get the heck out of here. Not only do I look forward to watching the Dolphins play bright and early Sunday morning, I also look forward to competent quarterback play. Yeah, Brissett played relatively well to open the game, but as things progressed, he didn't. He got worse. Call it the hammy, call it the Bucs defense wising up, whatever. I understand why the Colts moved on, and I personally, Jacoby, will usher you back to the bench and hand you a clipboard. It's finally Tua time. All the chips are on the table. Let's see what we got. Those fins may be battered, bruised, and oh so bloody, but remember always, fins up.
Last year, Miami was knocking on the door for the playoffs. Now they're 1-4. What's different? Because the record is sure different.
Yeah, it's tough to pinpoint exactly. One, I mean, we did have a quarterback change. Brissett played well today. You know, the last couple weeks I wanted him to get the ball out a little quicker stuff, but today was good. If he plays like this every week or even two, like they're going to be in a lot of games to be all right. The biggest thing, though, is just their defense is not getting off the field on third down. They're giving up too many big plays, and their identity is a little bit off, and I don't really see them like they were last year. And, you know, I think it'll show itself here going forward, but they need to come up with what they're going to do on third down to get off the field because, you know, they're beating themselves, you know, with penalties and other stuff on offense and just puts them behind, but that's really what I see.
That's going to do it for us here today. Thank you guys so much for listening to the PhinsPod. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you to Timothy Ritchie, Brian Guger, and new member Go Hydra, who are all members of the pod and supporters of the show over on Patreon. Check that out. Links in the description or head to patreon.com/PhinsPod. Thank you all so much for the continued support, and please remember to like the video if you enjoyed the show, subscribe just so you never miss a chance to chat about your Miami Dolphins. Remember, the PhinsPod's available wherever you listen, Spotify, Apple, Google Podcasts, and of course YouTube. Continue the convo with us over on Twitter and Instagram @PhinsPod. It's going to be another rough week, but hey, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. It's Jaguars week, baby. I hope you all have an amazing day. And until next time, stay safe. Love y'all.